Perfect tense. Present perfect verb tense. Introduction. The present perfect tense refers to an action or state that either occurred at an indefinite time in the past. For example, we have talked before, or began in the past and continued to the present time. Example: he has grown impatient over the last hour. The exact time is not important. We use the present perfect with the unspecific expressions such as ever, never, once, many times, several times, before, so far, already, yet, etc. Note, you cannot use the present perfect with specific time expressions such as yesterday, 1 year ago, last week, when I was a child, when I lived in Japan, at that moment, that day, one day, etc. In this case, we use simple past. Forming the perfect, the present perfect of any verb is composed of two elements: the appropriate form of the auxiliary verb to have present tense plus the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of a regular verb is base plus ed. For example, played, arrived, looked, and the irregular verbs do, did, done, drive, drove, driven, teach, taught, taught. For irregular verbs, see the table of irregular verbs in the section called verbs. Affirmatives. Subject plus have has plus verb, that is past participle. She has visited. They have been married for nearly 50 years. She has lived in Liverpool all her life. Negative. Subject plus have has not plus past participle. She hasn't visited. You have not seen that movie many times. Interrogative. Have has plus subject plus verb, that is past participle. Has she visited? Have you seen that movie many times? Interrogative negative. Have has plus not plus subject plus past participle. Hasn't she visited? For example, to walk, present perfect. Affirmative, negative, interrogative. I have walked. I haven't walked. Have I walked? You have walked. You haven't walked. Have you walked? He, she, it has walked. He, she, it hasn't walked. Has he, she, it walked? We have walked. We haven't walked. Have we walked? You have walked. You haven't walked. Have you walked? They have walked. They haven't walked. Have they walked? Function. The present perfect is used to indicate a link between the present and the past. The time of the action is before now, but not specified. And we are often more interested in the result than in the action itself. Be careful. There may be a verb in tense in your language with a similar form, but the meaning is probably not the same. The present perfect is used to describe an action or situation that started in the past and continues in the present. Example: I have lived in Bristol since 1984 and here I still do. An action performed during a period that has not yet finished. Example: she has been to the cinema twice this week and the week isn't over yet. A repeated action in an unspecified period between the past and now. For example, we have visited Portugal several times. An action that was completed in the very recent past, expressed by just. For example, I have just finished my work. An action when the time is not important. Example: he has read War and Peace. The result of his reading is important. Your experience. Note: when we want to give or ask details about when, where, who, we use the simple past. Example: he read War and Peace last week. Examples: number 1. Actions started in the past and continuing in the present. Usually we use it to say how long and when it since or for. They haven't lived here for years. She has worked in the bank for 5 years. We have had the same car for 10 years. Have you played the piano since you were a child? We use since with a fixed time in the past. The fixed time can be another action which is in the past simple. I've known Sam since 1992. I've liked chocolate since I was a child. She's been here since 2 p.m. We use for with a period of time. I've known Julie for 10 years. I've been hungry for hours. She's had a cold for a week. When the time period of refers to has not finished, for example, I have worked hard this week. It has rained a lot this year. We haven't seen her today. Number 3. Actions repeated in an unspecified period between the past and now. They have seen that film 6 times. It has happened several times already. She has visited them frequently. We have eaten at that restaurant many times. Actions completed in the very recent past. Have you just finished work? I have just eaten. We have just seen her as he has just left. When the precise time of the action is not important or not known. Someone has eaten my soup. Have you seen Gone with the Wind? She's stupid Japanese, Russian, and English. So, no, she studied Japanese, Russian, and English. To describe life experience, these are actions or events that happen sometimes during a person's life. We don't say when the experience happened and the person needs to be alive now. We often use the words ever and never here. I have been to France. This sentence means that you have had the experience of being in France. Maybe you have been there once or several times. I think I have seen that movie before. John has studied two foreign languages. Okay, thank you.